This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, hello everyone. So welcome to the March 9th Community Relations Committee meeting. We are meeting in person, but people are welcome to join remote through the video link provided on our agenda on the website, on the City Easthampton website, and we are grateful to the Easthampton media for recording this meeting and posting all of them on the city website, right?
That's well, they post them on YouTube, on the YouTube. Easthampton media account on YouTube.
Right, yeah. So we'll do a call to order. Margaret Kirstein.
Here.
Rebecca Pasa.
Here.
Marla Solomon.
Here.
Jan Norman. Not here. And myself, Emily Britton, here. Okay, so just to reiterate, to anyone watching this later, the mission statement of the CRC is to promote positive relations throughout Easthampton's diverse population. We'll work to build a sense of inclusion, community, and pride where community members feel welcome, accepted, and valued. Great. So, any announcements first from anybody on the committee?
Yes.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to be sure we announced to this group was that an Easthampton reparations group of sorts, without really a formal name, has been formed. A few of us are on it. And I think you all have or received from me an announcement about the event March 27th that's coming up.
Right.
It's not on the agenda. One thing I thought I would say, Community Relations Committee has a Facebook account. Definitely use that for our event. But I mean, with no objections, I could go ahead and also put the March 27th event through CRC. I think we had some discussion about whether we could be co-sponsor. I suppose another announcement, which you might have seen through my email, was receiving an updated answer from the mayor on my question about quorums. I was talking with a different city group when we discussed this, but really the way I'm seeing this is because this group was created with 11 seats with no mention of quorum, then the default is that a quorum is a majority of the 11. Now, there is in the charter provision for us to meet without a quorum from time to time, which we have been presumed to do because we can't even function if we don't. And in fact, in wonderful discussions with Derek Dean, one way of attracting more members is to be doing things. And in fact, I believe there's a woman who attended our event. Do I remember her name? But I think she's in the process of applying to come.
Is that Sarah? Do you know Sarah Weinberger?
But it wasn't Sarah.
It was Mary something?
I think it's
Mary and Sarah.
Yeah, her.
That makes sense. Yeah, Mary and Sarah. That sounds right. So I think she'll join us. Well, hey, listen, is this going to be challenging work? Sure it will. But anyway, I think what I wanted to say there was that what I was announcing was, what a quorum is again. From my perspective, I think that we can, there's some things that I think we can do. It's when it comes to creating our bylaws. And I think ultimately, although we want to approve minutes, we might want to ratify them after we really have a quorum. Because
So I still have I read everything that you said.
So, point of order, are we still on announcements or are we?
Right.
Why don't you just
Well,
Are
do
we
you want to do the announcement for the
gonna get into
program?
talking about this?
Yes.
Only
Well, so I announced two things, that the reparations group and
Mhm.
that event that I wanna
Mhm.
help get to the public. With,
Okay.
if no objections, I'm inclined to be bullheaded enough to do that.
Mhm.
No, that's,
Well, I
And the
think-
other thing
Yeah,
was,
so to wrap that up, I think I'm in favor of
I'm in
that.
favor,
I'm in
yeah.
favor also.
Okay,
Yeah, we should
great,
Go ahead
thank
and do
you.
that, yeah.
Okay. Mhm.
terrific.
Yeah.
And so the other is about a quorum, and I mean, yes, that could be, you
Do we
know,
have a way to talk about
I
it
wonder
tonight
if
or?
on, you know, on number 8, we at least have team building.
Right.
And some of that may bear on
Maybe,
that.
yeah, maybe
Here,
we
you-
could-
no, I have it right here. I mean, I
Yeah.
read it and I was just thinking, I was just looking down yours because I forgot I had one.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, the announcement is that the quorum is changing as of tonight, right? There's another
Actually-
meeting, or it already has changed?
oh, you know what, I haven't had the time
Mhm.
to look into process. I mean, what I understood the night of our event on the 26th, because I met
Mm.
Mary
Mhm.
and she indicated she knows the mayor. She'd already
Mhm.
put in her application. In
Mhm.
fact, the mayor said hello to me and said, oh, yes, there's a city council meeting that got missed, but it's in the pipeline. I think she has to be first
Mhm.
considered by the appointments committee. But what I haven't
and
done,
who is the appointments committee?
what I haven't done
Is
is
this part of the mayor's office or who's?
It
the-
is part of the mayor's office, yeah.
the appointments
One-
committee, that's a subcommittee of city
City
council.
But I'm still
City council.
confused what we're talking about, because are we talking about a quorum because
I think
whether
she's
a new
trying to
member or not is
Right.
irrelevant to tonight?
Right, the members is irrelevant, it's about, new members is irrelevant, it's about just announcing that our number is being reduced to 7, so then our quorum will just be 4. So for
Right.
example, tonight, we need a quorum.
Correct.
Oh, is our number being reduced?
Yeah,
So we
Yes.
told the mayor that that's what we want?
it was
That
in one
was
of the
months ago,
agendas already.
Oh, but you see, when I met with the mayor, okay, so when I met with the mayor, she had this idea that how to solve it would be to reduce the size of the committee.
Right, right.
Then I saw her later,
Mhm.
because I'm sorry about the age of these things. I saw her at Cookout with a Cop, and she said
Right.
that she found that what she needed was an approval from us.
Mhm.
So I did bring it here, and I
Mhm.
think we were on the fence. I don't know if we
Yes,
really
we
wanted
were
to
on the
reduce our
We will
number.
never have a quorum if we have to use 11. That is
Right.
blatantly
Never.
absurd.
Right,
So
right,
absurdity, I can't
right,
consider absurdity,
right,
because we would need
Right.
6,
right,
which we
Yeah.
don't even, there's no such 6th.
right,
So
Right.
that even exists in flesh and blood. Anyway,
Okay.
right.
so
But I feel like where I left it
Mhm.
was that the mayor then was waiting back to, she said, you know, even a phone call from you,
Mm.
that if we said, okay, we want our number to be 7, we want our
Mhm.
number to be 8,
Mhm.
whatever it is,
Mhm.
that if you confirm with her, she'll
Okay.
then take the steps
Okay, so would you like
to
me to call
reduce.
her? Do you guys, well, we didn't put a vote.
Is
on
there a
the
number? Do you
agenda.
like the, do you think 7?
Yes.
Yes,
7 active members would be lovely. And I
Right.
think if we, that means that only, quote, 2 more people could be appointed, because theoretically we have 5.
Mhm.
And one of the things that the mayor also said, I remember when we had a voice, I was on Zoom, that, she didn't want people necessarily to resign from them. They could just be in the parking lot. I don't know where they could be, but that seems to be a terrible hindrance to us.
Right,
Because
I
we could
agree.
have several members in absentia in that
Right,
way,
right.
and then we would still don't have any people power, and we
Right.
can't make a quorum.
right,
So that is of no use to us.
exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
So, I find people who are not present for extended periods of time
Mhm.
should not be on the committee. I don't,
Yeah.
and if they want to rejoin, then
Right,
that would be
right,
great. But
right.
until then, I think our number could be 7,
Mhm.
but I think it should be known that we have 4.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I understand that people have been in touch with Jan,
Mhm.
and about what the process is to resign.
Mhm.
But, I think that maybe we need to come up with a letter to send to him that says, you know, right now, you being on the committee and not being present really makes it very hard for us to have a quorum, and also to hold a quorum if we have any new members, because now only 2 more people can be appointed,
Right,
when we
Right.
really actually need as much people power as we can get,
exactly.
right? And, you know, it's like, hey, this is like the real world.
Right,
And,
Right.
I don't think that's
right.
anything.
I don't think
mean,
it's unreasonable. I think we should be able to do that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
just say.
Well,
this
and
is
the
a-
question I have is, if, I guess we're talking about this, so let's just go with it. But, if, is 7, you know, enough given, what we want to do? Because when you say working, you know, labor power, you know, we need that. And, but, you know, we could at least start there and, you know, I guess just keep our activities to a level where 7 people can get it done.
Right. Yeah, and if more people want to join, then they wouldn't be appointed any faster than she could increase our number.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Right, this seems that, you know,
Yeah.
that,
Okay.
you know, so 7 would be great. I think right now we have 4. I think we need to put, not pressure on Jan, but let him know that this is not helpful.
Right,
This is actually, his absence is unhelpful
right,
versus neutral.
right.
And it's not, the mayor presented it as if it were a neutral thing, but I don't think it is.
Right.
It doesn't feel that way to me.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's hard enough being a public committee and having everything have to be recorded and everything have to be
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
agreed upon and all of this stuff. And then to have people who haven't been here.
Exactly. Yeah.
So how do we want to go about this draft of a letter, or shall I start to write one and we can look at it later in the meeting? I mean, it's just rather simple.
I know, it is simple.
Well, I guess it strikes me, you know, and I'm a secretary, if you want me to do this. It strikes me that maybe then the thing to do would be to propose a resignation letter, send it to him and ask him to please sign here. Because I feel like what is needed, what the city clerk and the mayor seem to need is his letter that needs to come from him. So if we send him something and get him to sign it.
Well, but at the same time, I mean, I don't know this person and I don't know why, you know, he stays on and isn't coming. And, you know, thinking about this is a public committee and we have procedures we have to follow. You know, we don't want to be also pushing him out. It seems it's sort of in a hard space because, I guess I'm thinking like, should we check with the mayor about that procedurally or somebody? Because like, is that done? You know,
Well, I
because can
think
you
we can
actually like ask somebody to leave the committee without
I think we can
cause?
send a letter saying, this is the story.
Yeah.
I don't have the data, but in the last X number of months, I know from even before last April, when it was the last meeting that I was at in person, and then I couldn't, whatever, it goes on and on.
Right.
But, I think we just need the data of the last 12 meetings you have attended X. This is not helpful because we keep not having a quorum because we're supposedly having this number of members. We're supposed to have 7 members, so we need a minimum of 4 people. And you are our 5th. You're our variable for one other person not coming at this point. Otherwise, we won't have a quorum. And so we need people power, and we'd love you to stay on the committee.
Right.
But unless you can make a commitment to us, it's really not helpful to the Community Relations Committee moving forward to have a non-present member, have an inactive member.
Right.
I mean, I don't think that's rude. I don't think it's anything. I think it's
No, I don't
just
think it's
factual.
rude, and I'm sorry I've been too busy with
No,
the other
that's not
event
your job
to write
necessarily.
him or anything.
It's not your
Well,
job.
let's just say if it came from me, because I didn't speak with him. I spoke with him and there was one time I think I've spoken with him maybe twice or 3 times, but I think the first of those times he suggested that he was too busy. So what I had really been doing was reminding him the procedure to resign. If I wrote the letter, then it would be like, again, I'd really love to have your voice on the committee and I'd love you to stay, but just based on what you said to me, I'm giving you this letter because you're still on the rolls,
Okay, so he basically said he wasn't gonna be able to participate.
He has said that to me. So
Okay,
it's
well
just
then,
that he
all right.
doesn't take the step.
I see,
So,
okay. that's
so I think
different.
what you're saying is let's make it easier and I'll put,
Okay, yeah.
I don't know that we have to give him a resignation letter. We can, but I think the first piece is, we'd love you to stay, but this is not helping us.
well, I've been telling him I
But yeah,
love him to
she's already
stay,
done
but
that, it
that
sounds
he's
like.
still, and that I thought that he indicated he was resigning, but he's still on the roster.
Okay, so we can say that it's not, well, we could say all of that, and then he said he was gonna be resigning, but he's still on the roster. This makes it very hard to have a
Yeah,
quorum.
it's this,
And-
how difficult that makes things.
And that we, wanted, if he is going to resign, here's a simple letter if he's too busy to,
Yeah,
if
okay, that makes
if he's
sense.
not, wait,
Right,
and see you on Blump Day. you
Yeah.
know?
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, okay, since you've done all that, then I feel better about it.
yeah, so
wasn't sure.
so I don't feel like I have to worry too much about the history because, yeah, we've had that conversation.
Okay.
And it's like, listen, if we can make this easier for you, whether to come or whatever, well, let's do it.
Okay.
And I think he has, he's got a lot to offer. I mean, but what can I say?
Yeah, okay.
okay.
So, on this note, I just have one question, since we are talking about this. In this, FAQs you sent with your email? The FAQs, do you remember that?
Do I remember FAQ?
About the quorum.
Oh, yeah,
So I actually looked at that.
yes.
And unfortunate thing is that the two examples are very different answers. And so I wondered, which one are we? So are we assuming we're number 2, where it's a majority of the members actually serving,
No.
or the number of total?
No, I'm assuming it's number 1, which also mentions by default, because this committee was constituted as an 11-member committee.
But
Right.
it never has had 11 members. I know you keep saying that, but it has never had 11.
But that's
so
not
then
really
there's
what's relevant. See, the trouble is that on paper it has 11. And it doesn't say anything about a quorum, which means that the default is that the quorum is a majority of 11, even though we've never had 11.
So why wouldn't we be example number 2?
Because we don't have variable numbers. Isn't example number 2, here, let me try to see
It's
it.
just,
It says,
it says that it's.
A
the
general
quorum
law.
Is the majority of the members actually serving.
a general,
So
first
that
of
if
all,
you have 5 members serving, a quorum is 3.
but, okay, you got, okay, this is saying a law creates this and it says in the law that a quorum of the
Oh,
body shall
see.
be a majority of the members serving. Ours doesn't say that.
Okay, that's just, I wanted that clarification.
So, I mean, you
didn't
give it,
understand
it
why.
is a
Okay.
picky little thing, which is
Okay.
why I was not 100% on this for a long time.
Got it, okay, thank you for that answer.
So I think the question that's really out there, which maybe we could,
If anybody's scrolling, you would go to the appointments committee agendas, because I could swear I saw that the mayor was reducing our number to 7. I could swear I saw it on an agenda of some
of
sort.
whose? Of
I
ours?
thought it was the appointments committee, but maybe it was a
Okay.
different, it wasn't ours.
Well, I was looking
But it was an
actually,
agenda that I looked at. Might have been government rules, and it might have been the government rules one. which
so I'm seeing the
I
city
thought was
council
even meeting
appointments.
tonight.
Okay, well, what I found for appointments committee was a March 1st meeting. And I don't see an agenda for a future one right now.
Okay, so look at the government rules one.
Okay, and I don't see also Mary's name on here yet,
Yeah, I
so,
haven't seen her name
so I
either.
don't think she, unless there's an earlier one of these.
No, I've been looking at them.
No, because you know what, they even canceled February, so, but I still think Mary will come in, but it's gonna take a little while. So you are saying Rules,
Mhm.
rules and government, okay.
Mhm.
I heard your intake of breath. Do you want to say
I'm
something?
trying
I
to,
don't even know where those are on here.
I'm trying to just formulate what my thought
not
is.
in the
I'm
boards and
not ready.
committees.
It's not
It's part of
formulated yet.
city council?
Maybe I should look at my phone.
Let's try, let's see, select the
City
county.
council, oh, it's under city council. Maybe. Got it, resolutions?
It's rule, I think maybe rules and government
Agenda
relations.
Center, which is in the agenda center.
Public speak, administrative. Oh, yeah, look at that.
Okay, so. what
Okay,
is it?
so on March 9th, which is tonight, which we've just missed it, right? Or it's happening on the first floor right now.
Yeah,
Under new business, administrative code change CRC committee 11 to 7. So she must have just gone ahead. I never told her to go ahead, but,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Let's do it. All right, we're good.
Well, I mean, that would mean that our 4 then
yes.
would
Presuming
indeed
they're
be a
approving.
quorum.
Yes.
Maybe we should see if they voted
But we
yet.
don't have a variable. If one of us isn't here, then we don't have a quorum.
That's
Because we
true.
only have 4 people. And so, I mean, that's one of the things to say
Right.
to Jan is he's not able to fill in
Mhm.
to keep the quorum and to be a person who can do stuff. I think he's got, a good sense that he works full time, he's got kids, he has a private practice.
So he's busy.
Right. Okay. So,
Right.
next thing on the agenda.
Is public speak, right?
Yeah.
Public affairs.
Oh wait, just to wrap up, are you going to send an email to Jan or call Jan, Rebecca? And, or would you like Margaret to first send a letter to him and then you?
I can just even, while we're talking and
Right.
things, I can just write a draft. You already had the draft. You said, you have it. I mean, I don't have to write what you already know.
I'm happy to write to him if you'd like. And I even called him today because there's a different agenda item I was
Mhm.
trying to reach him about,
Mhm.
but I failed to reach him. So,
Yeah. Okay.
Did you leave a message? Yes.
Mhm.
and I'm even thinking on writing, maybe I'd even mail it,
Yes, I think that'd be good.
email and mail,
Mhm.
honestly. And a self-addressed stamped envelope even, but
Okay.
That's
Okay,
good.
so you want to do that, Rebecca? That'd be
Sure.
great. Okay,
Sure.
thank you. Thanks.
Mhm.
So approval of minutes.
Okay, so I am
Yippee-yay.
pleased. Thank you for everybody's patience. The April 27th meeting, minutes.
It's a treatise.
Yeah, it is a
It is a
It's
treatise.
minor treatise.
Mhm.
Yes, but somehow that was, that meeting was important to a number of people, so, this is as revised with some input from Emily.
Mhm.
As I went through, I mean, it's not exact, but it took your
Mhm.
remarks and,
Okay. Thank you.
So let me ask you, that I saw the ones from April, that was your first meeting, and that was the first meeting I wasn't at because it couldn't be hybrid.
Mhm.
So, minutes, what you wrote is, a very detailed description of the conversation.
Mhm.
And those are not minutes, however. I mean, I have no problem with us submitting them as minutes.
Mhm.
We can submit anything we want,
Mhm.
but those are not Madam Secretary minutes,
Okay,
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have no problem accepting them. I wasn't there, but accepting them as they are for the people who were there and remember what was
Yeah.
said.
Yeah. I mean, I've thought about that a lot. Like initially I really wanted Myra to approve the fact that they were nearly a transcript and not just minutes.
Summary.
But we haven't been able to hear that from her. So at this point, we're way out of compliance with our minutes being published. So I think.
Would it make more sense, I'm just saying, given that it is more of a transcript,
Mhm.
and you're attributing it to Myra, I mean, we could say a committee member suggested blump, blump, blump. I mean, is there a problem with
Right.
saying Myra said? if she's not here to approve those
Approve
minutes?
it. I know. I have worried about that. We could change it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm flexible,
Change it,
so,
everywhere.
I mean, there are some things that are lengthy, like I have had a habit of putting, you know, when we have the public, I've
Mhm.
put quite a lot of what they've said, but I don't even have to do that
No, you don't have to
necessarily,
do
right?
any of this. You have to say so-and-so spoke about, and then the subject, and that's basically it.
Mhm.
It's like a sentence. And
Okay.
although those to me are on some level useless minutes,
Mhm.
they
Right,
are
right.
what is expected minutes to be.
Right.
And then you have the fully fleshed out
Mhm.
minutes,
Mhm.
which is historical.
Mhm.
I don't know, where can historical documents go?
I know. I know.
You know,
Yeah,
my
it's like you want a
computer's
record of
fine.
it somehow.
I
Now, we
know.
hope there's really a cloud.
Right. I mean, I would think the city website administrator would not mind putting an extra link underneath the date of those minutes, just saying transcript. I think they could do that, since they have to type in new dates for the minutes anyway. Like if a meeting gets changed, they have to change the date. It's not like those dates are automatically put into the website all the time. They may need to be edited, so I don't see why they couldn't put one extra link that says transcript. That would be my request, actually.
That you're quoting, that,
Mhm.
that these
And I'd be
minutes.
happy to turn that into minutes if you're tired of it, Rebecca. Keep that, but then I could also make a minutes one. Yeah.
Um,
What do you think?
that's fine, so you want me to, well, so you want a more of a summary, which we don't have now, so we'd have to vote on it later,
We would, right?
you know, although, we might even have a quorum when we,
Well, we have a quorum now, but
Well-
Myra has resigned, yes?
Mhm.
And
well,
so
we don't have 7 out of 11 now. But depending on tonight's vote upstairs, then we may have a quorum.
Okay, so, it's hard to talk to a lawyer.
I know.
I know.
You do it all the
I
time.
know, I get that, and I'll say something and she'll say, oh, wouldn't it be nice to think so?
Oh, that's a wonderful response.
sounds like
I
something
love
you would say.
that. I love that.
So, yes, I understand. However, you know, I can't, you know, I'm so concrete that, you know, it's like, hey, wait a minute. Impossible is impossible. I can't even reach for that, you know, so,
Mhm.
if, again, the worst case scenario is you could just take them what they are and redact, literally
Mhm.
black line out the name.
Mhm.
And it's the names that are
Well, the
concerning?
name of a member that is being quoted that
Is no longer here and
is not
able-
approving of that she actually said
Mhm.
that.
Right.
So so it could be a committee member
Mhm.
or just blank, it's redacted, a committee member suggested, and, you know,
So so one concern might be length, but really in this case, it might really be, not being so out there with names.
Mhm.
Or
or
that.
that somebody isn't gonna be able to say, no, I didn't say that, you misunderstood me.
Or I didn't mean to say it quite like that. I was nervous. Whatever.
Or
Yeah.
that's not what
yeah.
I meant, or
Right.
whatever.
Right. Mhm. Yeah.
Well, I was just looking at some of the other minutes of other committees and it does say, you know, so-and-so said blah, 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 but,
But her own minutes, Rebecca's own minutes for the other times look like minutes. They don't look like a full transcript.
I see.
They are like a single page
Mhm.
that has boom, 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 and.
Yeah, they might be 4 pages, but you know, I'm a little on the long side, but I get what you're saying.
Mhm.
They're a little on the long side.
I've written out all this training from Derek Dean, which I thought was important. I mean,
I know, it's great, and you're a detail person, and
yeah,
I understand,
yeah,
but.
No, it's tough to know what to put in minutes and what to leave out and stuff.
yeah. But you know, how are you with referring to one of the co-chair people. I feel like, let's see, what is this? This is saying, I'm just thinking of the agenda items. So we have public speak. We have, and this is under discussion of this allegation. Well, so I might really
So you
wanna,
have this, because.
yeah, this is a copy here. Would you
My
like that?
computer says I can't download it. I
Okay,
mean,
and there's
why?
another one in case.
Maybe I'm not on.
But, so in number 8, it's even, the agenda item was discussion. In a sense, I would say, one of the chair people stepped up to share some thoughts to open the discussion,
So then I don't necessarily like the
and,
fact that I could be implied,
What did you say? I didn't
How
understand.
about just a committee member?
right, a committee member.
okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Mhm.
a member of the committee,
Yeah, I spoke with Derek Dane about how to, Myra and I spoke with Derek Dane about how to approach this particular meeting, and Myra and I had different views on how to approach it, but I wasn't going to put up any barriers to her, how she wanted to approach it. So I'd rather not be implicated as potentially being the one who spoke about that.
okay,
And it's
well,
also pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Really look into it, but,
Yeah.
but,
well, so I think rather than trying to approve this set tonight,
Mhm.
let me at least revise number 8 to be far shorter and talk about how a committee member opened up the discussion with, you know, she got some input. So she opened up the discussion with feedback, really, that she had received both from community sources and personal sources, okay? And then I think way down at the end, there were steps that, I mean, I don't have to name her, but it seems she asked, what would we like to propose, and then talked about steps that might be.
But may I suggest to you,
Uh-huh.
Rebecca, that
Uh-huh.
8 says discussion of alleged racist interaction between mayor and high school student, April 22. That is all it needs to say. It doesn't need to say anything else. Period.
It doesn't,
Discussion, number 7 is discussion regarding proposal from the Department of Justice. Discussion of alleged racist interaction. This is all history. This can go.
well, 7 says that we didn't discuss it. So
Okay,
no-
but
So
8
number 8 will say that we did discuss it.
Yes, discussion, we had a discussion. Okay, and as I read all of this, to be perfectly honest with you, I saw it as somewhat outdated and somewhat inaccurate
Okay,
myself in terms of the issue at hand. And what was exactly said and exactly what the mayor did or didn't do, and that all came out and was revealed over time.
right,
And,
right. Yeah,
I personally don't have an opinion on what did or did not occur. I was not there, and it seems unclear to me
Right.
from different sources that, also, I think that anytime any of us say, someone told me, or someone didn't like X, this was
Right.
something that came up between Myra and me around her reporting that, someone did not like the Undoing Racism workshop, and it was Omar. And I said, well, okay, he was a participant, and I was a participant, and I did like it, and he didn't like it. So that's, one person liked it, one person didn't like it. His opinion doesn't hold more or less weight than mine, and I'm curious about what everyone thought,
Right.
Right. But that somehow was, that informed her, and she wanted nothing to do with it. So, I think that we can't do that. If somebody needs to say something to this committee, they need to submit something in writing, or they need to hear, or they need to, I don't want to be, bolstering my opinion by kind of
On
the editorial
hearsay,
we,
Yeah,
or they told me that this,
Right.
and therefore this is a bad idea, when
right,
I don't even know, they never said that, I never heard it, and
right.
I think it's dangerous. I think it's a poor
I
precedence.
agree.
I think it's a very poor precedence.
I
Okay.
agree.
So,
I
so I
mean-
think that's a little bit of a problem that
Right.
we've had in the past.
Well, okay, I can certainly view that as all part of the discussion that does not need to be described. I'm wondering for myself
Mhm.
about steps at the end, whether those are valuable to have. And I don't need to say, I started it by saying, as Chair Myra
Those
asked
are-
about steps.
Yeah. those are
I don't
some
have to say
suggested steps.
that, but I could say some thoughts about next steps included this bullet list. I mean, I just think some ideas are nice to have on our radar on a continuing basis.
Mhm. But is it anything new to us, though?
No,
No, then, I mean, you can say a committee member suggested these steps,
yes,
serious,
Right,
You know.
it's just some thoughts included these steps.
that's fine.
So that's just discussion, so that
Right.
whoever
right,
said it.
Right. And, you put a lot of work into this, so I don't see anything wrong with emailing Myra and asking her to read them, emailing her directly and asking her to read the transcript and asking her if she would like the transcript to be on the city website, and it could be called a transcript. But you could try that just so all your work doesn't go for naught. But,
Oh, I don't usually think it's for nothing anyway,
okay,
because it helps bear things in mind.
right. well,
I think that but I feel like we've done that outreach because I feel like we tried while she was still part of the committee
Right.
to get her specific input and
mhm,
with which we didn't get.
Right.
and as far as I can tell, the committee never did come up with a statement for the CRC to come up with a
No.
statement.
No.
But we didn't do any follow-up that
Mhm.
was talked about.
And by the way, this is all on a video recording too, and that's
Right,
part of
exactly,
an
yeah.
archive, so
Right.
it's not like,
Right.
it's not like the public can't get at this.
Yep.
They certainly can.
That's right,
Right,
again.
and so, yes,
Mhm.
and I think, even though I also am a runner honor, I was briefly a secretary at the Cancer Connection.
Oh, so would you like me? That would be nice.
Well, not exactly.
Not to that extent. Oh, you're
Not exactly.
not trying to give me that cozy feeling of.
No, I said maybe a fourth of what you said. And I was told that was too much.
Okay.
And,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and I think that was right. And, it is for the sense of history or recollection,
Mhm.
for people to, you want people to even know what were we talking about that day
Right,
anyway,
right.
but,
Mhm.
minutes, what I can understand about minutes is they really do not serve the function as to what was really discussed. They just
Mhm.
serve the function of an outline.
Mhm.
Yes, to get the topics.
Yes,
Mhm.
just the topics with a tiny, tiny little bit of, A, B, C in title in number one,
Mhm.
and that's it. So, we
Okay.
need an editor.
Yeah.
I need to be your editor.
So the conclusion of this is that Rebecca will edit hugely
Yeah, I'll edit those.
and send them out again before the next meeting, and we'll approve those. That sound good?
If they, if
Mhm.
they look acceptable.
Right.
So in the meantime, can we approve the other ones?
The others?
Do we have to go one by one?
Yeah,
Okay,
Okay.
let's
do you
do it.
need copies?
No,
Nope.
I already looked at
Read
them.
them all.
Okay.
Yes, we read them all, and
Did our homework.
Mhm.
given that you all were here, I mean, I'm gonna abstain because I wasn't here,
Mhm.
but they all seem
Mhm.
straightforward and matter of fact, and
So can you just read off the months and we can
Oh,
say that, yes,
okay.
we approve which
Yeah.
ones?
Oh, okay, well, so, I make a motion to approve the minutes of May 18th, 2020.
Second.
I seconded.
Any
Third.
discussion? You can
Third.
call the vote if you
Yes.
like.
Okay, approved.
Approved.
Yeah, approved.
All in favor?
And I should abstain because I wasn't here, yes.
Right.
I will abstain.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Okay, so. I make a motion to approve the minutes of May 25th, 2022.
Wait, approved.
I guess we need who was the second on the first one? I'm sorry.
me,
Okay. And how about May 25th?
I second.
Okay.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, we're
Hybrid.
hybrid, but we're in person too. I guess we could do an all in favor,
Okay,
right?
all in favor?
You know,
Approved.
okay.
Do the rules.
I make a motion. I feel like I've got a conflict of interest with all of them, but hey, make a motion to approve the minutes of June 22nd, 2022. Any
Approved.
second?
Second,
Okay.
Mhm.
All in favor?
Favor.
Okay.
And you need another pen because I have other pens.
yeah.
Oh,
sorry.
You're noticing that I have,
Your pen is dying.
We're running out of ink.
that's right. Okay, so that's what I've got.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Terrific, thank you.
Back to you. All
Okay,
right.
so the next agenda item is follow-up on our film showing at February 26th.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, I guess, I mean, I've gotten so many positive remarks from it. I would like to know if anyone got any negative remarks at all, and if they see anything that could be improved for future events. And I wanted to talk about choosing some key months to do it again, if we were to do it again in a film format. And then I can show you all the steps.
Right.
So, yeah.
I think that format was fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
It really was riveting and it gave an entire context for people gathering, and it was something to reflect on and et cetera. And then having certainly the woman who wrote the book and her
Yeah, it's
perspective
amazing.
was fabulous.
Right.
And then the, faculty member from Winnick was also, I mean, it was just perfect program, seriously.
Yeah, it was.
It was great.
Yeah.
Well,
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
I mean, I think for me, the elements that stood out were very high quality members of the panel, right choices. Thank you for getting Bridget, and very appropriate, not too many, and also, good film. But also the venue, in my view, is important, because it just has a little bit more of a community vibe to it,
Right.
and
Right.
casual a little bit, kind of, I think made people feel more relaxed in a more formal kind of atmosphere.
Yeah.
And good publicity. The word really got out, and a lot of people showed up. So we had, the fact that it was full was important. It made people feel like, oh, I'm in the right place
And
tonight.
people could be also on the other side because it was
Right.
split screen on the other side.
Right.
So how many people approximately does it hold? Do we know?
I don't know, and I
They would
forgot
probably
to
know.
ask Chris if there was ever a head count. I meant to text him earlier and ask, but
I don't think anybody
I think it
did
was at
one,
least
but it was
50.
about 50 people.
Yes, I was
Yeah,
gonna
at
guess
least,
about
yeah.
50, and it
Mhm.
seems like there could have been maybe more, maybe
Right.
20 more in the other. I'm just saying that as a venue for the
Mhm.
future.
Right.
It has a lot of appeal.
Right,
Mhm.
it sure does.
It has a lot of appeal.
Yeah,
Right.
no, it's good.
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
and,
I think having a place that people can sort of go, to just relax in a slightly different setting next door was great.
Yeah.
You know,
That's good, yeah.
I've been to other presentations where you're in one room and if you want to like move around a bit or make a phone call or something, you feel very stuck,
Right.
I think it may have added to ease, I also think the music in the beginning may have made people feel a little
Yep, the
looser,
music was great.
Yeah.
And even, the way the stage is set up in there,
Mm-hmm.
and, it's very professional looking
Mhm.
too, but again, kind of relaxed, not in a
Right.
formal way. And,
Right. Right.
it'd be interesting to hear, how the judge and the professor felt about the, being up on that stage.
I know,
But from their perspective,
yeah.
but from an audience perspective, it
Mhm.
seemed
Right.
good.
Right. Right.
And also just kind of, I don't know, cool,
Mm-hmm.
like,
Right.
you could be on
Well,
Oprah or
it's the same,
something.
right, but then, I think one of the things when you're a
Mhm.
presenter, you are either set up
Mhm.
or you stand up,
Right.
or whatever,
Mhm.
or this would made it
Easy to
Mhm.
see them,
able
for sure.
for people to see
Mhm.
Absolutely.
and see their mouths, you know what I mean? Kind of,
Mhm.
if you
Right.
couldn't hear so well or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
Right.
it was good.
Yeah.
Really great.
Yeah. The microphones messed up photos. Did you notice that? Like, you could never get all three
Oh.
speakers without a microphone
Oh, yeah,
cutting
yeah,
off
yeah, I know.
someone's face.
If I had been in the very front,
Right.
then you
only in
could get the,
center.
yeah,
Right.
but,
I know.
anybody who wasn't just directly straight on,
Right.
you couldn't get a photo of it.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so the ones I sent you were
Yeah.
kind
Yeah, I have,
of,
Yeah, there wasn't
microphones.
one that would work, but I just have been too busy to use Photoshop and like
Take
I
out
was
the
gonna take
microphone.
3, like the best of each person and merge them together. And who cares if it doesn't quite look? I could even make it to look like.
What's the purpose of the photos?
Well, I thought
Using-
if we could put it on our Facebook page.
Oh, right.
And then
Yeah, but I don't
say,
think they have to be perfect for that, Emily.
that's true.
If there's a mic in the
That's
way of
true.
one,
Right, that
it's the
doesn't
real
matter.
life. you
Right,
know?
right, right,
Yeah,
right,
I don't
right.
think they have to be perfect.
Right, that's true.
Just like
Yeah.
this is what actually happened and
Right.
we're,
Right.
next, so.
Yeah, yeah,
I think,
Yeah.
that would be
that's
good.
true. Say we are recruiting new members.
Right.
That was my idea, but.
so wouldn't,
Haven't done it yet.
so the steps, maybe you could just,
Yeah,
I'd like to see
yeah.
the sheet, but
Yeah.
maybe you could
Do you
talk
have
a little
copies
bit.
of that? Wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering,
Mhm.
thank you, how, so you got the idea to
Mhm.
call the Easthampton Film Festival, just because you had seen that this movie was gonna be, this documentary was gonna be shown?
Last year I was one of the judges for the film festival,
Ah.
so I was familiar. I knew that the new film festival submissions were in for this coming year. And I spoke to Chris and asked him if he was interested in a collaboration with us. He was definitely interested. And so I found the film in the submissions for this year's festival. And I watched it and I thought it was a great film. And then he watched it and he thought it was a great film. So he contacted the filmmakers and dealt a little bit more with them. But, there were often emails from both of us to them. Yeah.
So let me ask you, I have a question,
Mhm.
so pay for film, can you
Mhm.
put some dollars and cents on that?
That was $199.
Okay,
So,
Cheap.
yeah,
very,
yeah. Hmm. If you want to see, this is my invoice. If you want to
Oh,
see the Xerox your receipts and then submit it.
Is there anything I can do?
I
Take that out?
just need to go to a Xerox machine and
Well, I can
I
make copies.
keep forgetting to take it to work.
I can make a copy at home.
Do you have Xerox machine at home?
Yeah.
Oh, God, okay.
I just
Great.
thought you needed the originals.
Right, I do need the originals, but I didn't want to lose.
I took
sometimes
photos of them.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, you can,
Okay, then we don't need
you
to.
can submit
work
the
on it.
originals.
do you need
Okay.
this back, yes?
No, I don't need that back, actually.
Oh,
You can
okay.
hold on to it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great.
So,
Yeah.
so in things we didn't arrange for recording of the event, and then I failed to get a form into the Board of Health, so there's that. But other than that, everything went well.
Well, I guess my question too is like,
Mhm.
you know, this kind of thing could work even if it's not a film.
Mhm.
You know, films are great.
Right, right.
And we talked
Mhm.
about, you know, that film is good
Mhm.
idea because
Mhm.
it gives a focal point
Right.
and something people
Context.
don't have to
Yeah.
do any homework about. They don't have to read a book or
Right.
whatever ahead of time.
Mhm.
They just come and watch a film.
Mhm.
But, you know, you could also use a venue like that and
Mhm.
do a lot of these same steps with other
Mhm.
types of events, speakers, or,
Right, right.
you know, panels or,
Right.
you know.
Did Luthier's get a fee?
They offer it for free on Sundays.
Okay.
Yeah.
Community service thing, yeah.
Mhm.
So Luthier's, even though they have staff there,
Yeah, yeah, the staff hopefully felt paid by, I asked her if she wanted any more money, and she said she got enough tips, so,
is this from the bartender?
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
Chris has a relationship with Steve of some sort, so that he was the one that, first asked Steve.
Yeah,
So they're free on Sunday because they're typically closed on Sunday.
right.
Yeah, exactly.
So your question was, when do we want to do another one?
Yeah, like, I think the next, once again, I researched upcoming months and I failed to print anything out and bring it with me. I was a little bit hindered. My internet didn't work for a few weeks, and I couldn't print. Like there's LGBTQ month, right? Is it May or June? We also have Asian Pacific Heritage Month, and I'd like to do a
Asian Heritage Month?
Asian Pacific Heritage Month, and then a Hispanic Heritage Month is in the fall, and I'd really like to do a Jewish Heritage Month, or, yeah.
That looks like it's also May.
Mhm.
This- I don't
Which
know,
one's
this
in May?
Jewish,
It's also in May, really?
but I'm not sure. That was Wikipedia.
Right.
Well,
See, somehow I've got the ABA, it has a celebrating diversity page. So the first thing they say
Okay.
is Black History Month,
Mhm.
Women's History Month.
Right,
Right
that's
now.
That's right now. I know
Right.
Asian American Pacific Islander,
What is that?
When is that?
That's May.
May. Mhm.
Okay.
Well, interestingly enough, what I wrote down right before we came up with Asian Pacific Heritage Month
Mhm.
is last night I saw a 40-minute movie called The Elephant Whisperers,
Mhm.
about southern in India,
Mhm.
refuge for elephants.
Mhm.
And it is fabulous. I mean, talk about a feel good, so interesting about the culture, the
Mhm.
people, a family. I mean, it's a
Mhm.
family film in
Uh-huh.
many ways. It is brilliant,
Yeah,
and
Huh.
very much for adults as well,
Right.
clearly.
right.
But anyway, that could be something. I don't know about how one gets, and it's actually up for an Academy Award.
Oh, is it? Uh-huh, yeah.
So Elephant Whisperers, that's something to consider, but for that,
Okay.
but in terms of something sooner or not
Right.
having to invent that wheel, it's definitely
Right.
worth seeing and seeing what we think about that,
Right, okay,
in
Okay.
terms of using it,
right.
because it was just phenomenal. I mean, I
Okay.
just learned so much.
Yeah.
Sounds
one
interesting.
reason- Yeah.
So June would be celebrating Pride. Do you want
Right.
to keep going?
June is
Mhm.
Pride.
They mentioned Juneteenth.
Mhm.
Oh, yes, that's definitely important.
That's on June 19th.
Mhm.
Then, let's see.
Hispanic, September,
Yeah,
October.
it's funny how they don't highlight the month, but there's Hispanic, Latino, Latina, Latinx Heritage Month.
Native American, well, this.
Do
I'm
you
looking
have
at-
which month that's on?
Which one?
The Latino, because it just.
Well, I'm on a United States Ports website and it
Mhm.
says Hispanic Heritage is September, October. So both months? No,
Yeah,
can't be.
it's
Only
spread.
one day.
Yeah, sure.
I think I saw that too, that it spreads.
Yeah,
across.
September, oh, yes.
Okay.
So I would,
Mhm.
that would seem, it seems
Mhm.
like September 15th marks the beginning of that month.
Oh, okay. So
Okay.
the process 2 months.
Then there's Native American Heritage Month. I had
Mhm.
thought that was November. Let me check my.
This says November. here.
November,
Yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
National Disability Employment Awareness Month, that's October.
Mhm.
So it's not like they do these in order, is it?
Mhm.
And somehow
Right.
there's Disability Pride Month. Is that the same month?
Good.
July,
Mhm.
July.
Is disability pride month?
Yeah, and that's what the ABA has to say about the American Bar Association.
This is funny. On Wikipedia, there's so many.
There's more on there too?
Well, also, it's not just in the US on this
Right.
one, so.
Holocaust Remembrance Day is in January, I believe. Yeah.
Hmm.
Did any of you see the article in the New York Times about
As being a Jew?
it? Yeah, yeah.
About
What
what?
did you think of it? I didn't read it all yet. But
Well, I had my first, I was interested in it,
Yeah.
really, but then it felt very empty.
I didn't.
It felt very, I don't know, I'd have to look at it again. It
Mhm.
just, it didn't go anywhere.
Mhm.
And it had all different kinds of people,
Mhm.
Jews who were from all over the country,
Mhm.
Republicans, Democrats,
Right. Right.
ages.
Different ages.
And I just
You're
didn't find it,
expecting more. Yeah.
yeah, I found it kind of
Yeah.
vacuous.
That's too bad. Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, one reason why I think the last film was kind of perfect was because it, you know, brought up issues that we're still struggling
Dealing with, yes.
obviously, right?
And even more so.
So I don't know, and it's about, acceptance of people and acceptance of differences and fairness and justice, which, has been coming up ever since George Floyd was murdered. And it's sort of very much the history of this committee, The other months, I would want to have some sort of potentially local connections somehow,
Yeah.
I might want people who are Native American living here to be part of choosing the film or choosing the panel. I wouldn't want it to always be us
Yeah.
choosing. We were just lucky,
Yeah.
I think, with the last one. So,
Yeah, that's a tricky thing. I mean,
right.
you hit it well and you
Mhm.
chose well,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a lot of challenges
Mm-hmm.
with choosing the right thing.
Right, right.
Well, there's a scholar named Marge Bruchac
Mm-hmm.
who's part Native, attended Smith College. I think she's teaching in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
But I wonder if she wouldn't be a valuable resource in terms of whether she would present or have suggestions.
Well, we've got wonderful Native American histories professors in our area, and some of them are Native. And so I don't think we need to go to, I know, Marge, we don't need to necessarily go outside of the area. We've got good people who are good resource people here.
Okay, I just thought she had a connection, and I also felt like her heritage would be tribal to hear too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think she's kind of a little overused, but you're not saying that maybe she would be the presenter necessarily, because she presents a lot around.
Yeah, and a
Yeah.
friend of mine knows her too,
Mhm.
but she might have ideas.
Yeah.
You know, not that she's necessarily available, but she might have.
Right,
Mhm.
right. Yeah, and what I'm saying is that there's other people I think would have good ideas in the area as
Mhm.
well.
Great.
And we used to run a Native Histories professional development program for teachers and at colleges when I was working there. And there's just great faculty in the area and
Mhm.
a lot of good, deep connections
Mhm.
to Native communities and
Mhm.
in the Mass and Connecticut and all of that. So
Mhm.
I think we
That's good.
have really good resources we can
Great.
draw on.
Mhm.
But I don't know, for me, I think a little bit is like not thinking necessarily like, okay, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's good to do the Heritage Months things,
Mhm.
but we don't want to get sort of pigeonholed into
Yeah, right,
just, oh, we're just about,
exactly, yeah.
sort of, what they call, the 3 Fs in multicultural education, food, what do they call it? Food, flags and something else, it's like,
Fun.
yeah, whatever it is, but,
Right.
so we want to,
Exactly.
and this was not that for
Mhm.
sure, but,
Right.
we want to
Mhm.
just be careful. We're not just like
Mhm.
kind of slipping into that
Right.
mode, I think.
I agree, yeah.
Well, this came together with an interesting film and the correct month and a lot of things just in the right
Mhm.
place.
Mhm.
Would it make sense for you to look at what further films there are?
Mhm.
And whether there's
Oh.
another film that's a
Right.
standout and that can connect,
Mhm.
maybe it would be best presented in a certain time frame, but maybe instead of being stuck on
Mhm.
months, we
Mhm.
would, because the film was a valuable part of it. So if
Mhm.
there's another
Mhm.
film that's
Right,
really meaningful.
right.
Mhm. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've all seen some incredible films, although right now I'm like, I know what I saw last night, that's good, I could remember
Right,
that.
right.
But, for us to think about it, there are some
Mhm.
really fabulous things out there.
Mhm. Right.
But this was what you chose as part of what kind of new submissions film festival type
Right,
material?
yeah, and in the
that's
next
nice.
few months, Chris and I and some other people will be reviewing all of the other submissions, so I can keep my eye out.
So who knows, something might jump out and say,
Yeah,
pick
Right.
me.
right,
Yeah.
right. I can certainly do that. Yeah, like I don't think I could pull off doing as much of this work.
No, you
For
should have.
May, for
No,
May.
That was just because it was,
Yeah.
also kind of quick time frame,
Right,
quick
right.
turnaround.
Yeah.
But you don't, your name is by everything here and
Yeah.
it shouldn't be on the next one.
Right,
You just
yeah,
took the ball and you ran with it, thank you.
right.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. All right,
So,
well, if anyone think of any next steps in this area, I will review some films, which is what I'm gonna do anyway.
Well, we did talk about, building on it in terms of the recruitment aspect.
Right.
And,
Right.
Rebecca did put up the announcement on our Facebook page and
Mhm.
I actually sent that over to the Easthampton Facebook group and put it on my own Facebook page.
Mhm.
I don't know, we probably haven't gotten any traffic from that. As far as nobody's like written to us and say, oh, yeah, I can't wait to sign up. But if there's anything further we can do with that, I'm happy to help with that. Like if you want me to put something together for the
I
Facebook
guess if
page.
you would like to, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Good time.
I mean, I already just put out the event thing again, but if you want to put up photos, we could put some photos, but I think
Right.
you are the owner, right? So I'd have to send them through you of the
Yeah.
Facebook page.
Or,
I can't post
I mean,
myself.
you could be added.
Uh-huh. Well, yeah, I don't want to get into a position where I'm responsible for the Facebook page. So I'm happy to send them to you
Okay,
or whatever.
that's fine.
But I could send it to you
That's
pretty
fine.
much like done, like I did last time. And thank you for fixing the things that didn't work. in
Sure.
that last one.
And I think I already told you that that if people can send a message to the Facebook page, but then it replies and says,
Email.
I think it does, it says
Okay.
to email
Okay.
us, it's, yeah, so it will reply, but
I see.
it's like nobody's
Mhm.
nobody's promising to monitor that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That makes sense. Well, in the next one, we could say, email us like you did in that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd be happy to volunteer to post some photos and,
Okay.
but I mean, I'll send them to you.
Sure.
I was also gonna say that, I was at an event at the Marigold Theater.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody's been in there recently.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yes, it's a fabulous space.
Right.
It's
It is.
huge.
Yeah.
It has a good sized stage. It's got a lot going for it.
Mhm.
So
Another
Right.
place to do it. Yeah.
fabulous space.
Right.
That's
Right.
right there, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
a good space.
I can ask Chris if he had to pay to use it when he did one of his films there last year, or several of his films.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, right. They would charge, but maybe not.
Yeah, it's another good space. Okay.
So it sounds like then the next step is just keep eyes open as you're going through those other films to see if there's other things. And, if something else comes to our attention as well, we could,
Yeah.
could do that. I mean, there's so many, as we always say, so many things we could do. So,
I know. Exactly.
It just seemed like the nice thing, those would be new films with their authors still interested, so it sounded like maybe there were people connected to this film that couldn't come, but you
Right.
did have the author of the
Right.
book, so that's really cool.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And if there's another film that's like new like
Mhm,
that, then somebody might be willing to,
So did
Yeah.
Chris get in touch with the judge and have her come from California?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
she did that to
Yeah.
promote the film.
Well, she was gonna be in New
She's gonna
York.
be in New York anyway, visiting her family. So, and I think the filmmakers knew or just knew that she was willing
To do that.
to travel. So, yeah.
yeah, Emily came and just said that she wanted to be
Mhm.
here.
Mhm.
It sounded great, yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm an alumna of Western New England, so I just thought, wow,
Mhm.
I've got the faculty there. That worked out
I
really
know, that's great.
nicely.
And Bridget is very willing to, be involved with any other panels. She said
Oh, that's great.
she had a great time.
Oh,
She said, she wrote
That's
me and
good.
said she had a great time.
Yeah, she's a great connection for us, I
Yeah,
think.
I think so
She's
too.
powerful and, it'd be
Yeah.
nice to kind of, pick her brains some more too.
Mhm. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. So we can pay her quickly. Or you wasted a week. Okay.
Do you need help with anything, Emily, in
well,
terms of follow-up? Because,
I mean,
again, you can delegate.
right. Well,
Yeah, I don't know what
I'll
you
just-
can delegate or not, but.
Yeah. We'll just get this copy and then I don't know, I can drop this off tomorrow or if you wanted to walk over and deliver this tomorrow. But it's Friday and no one's here.
Right.
A lot of people aren't here. Yeah.
Kind of closed tomorrow, right?
Are they closed
Yeah,
entirely?
the
Is the building
office is
closed?
So it'd have to be next week. But if you're, not around during the day, I
Right.
can do it next week.
Okay.
I'll leave it with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, for me, the only reason to think about films is that, it would be an easy, not easy, not easy, but
Mhm.
the notion and the panel and
Mhm.
venue kind of could fall together. If A, then B, then C,
Right.
And it's not about, there's also a thing here on the,
Mhm.
about follow-up on the dialogue on race proposed by Derek. Is that something he was considering or talking to us
Oh,
about?
no, we've already had that conversation with him.
You've been here for that discussion.
Follow-up, but this is on our agenda here, follow-up on the dialogue
Right.
race proposed by
Right.
Derek.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
Okay,
Why
why don't we get to that?
Why don't we shift to that now? Yeah.
Because I was just curious if that was dovetailed with this or not.
It didn't. No,
Okay.
No, but just had, the ball started rolling with the film festival.
No, I think
thing
that-
first, so,
A film is a good thing.
yeah, people don't need to read a book because they're not gonna come
And
to a
they can
panel if
come
they
and-
haven't read it yet, and, yeah,
Entertained isn't exactly quite the right word,
Right,
but, you
but-
know,
yeah,
just receive.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. Stimulated or
Food
the
for thought. I mean,
subject gives
if
you,
that's,
yeah,
you know, for conversation. And
right,
also it could be presenters, and those presenters could potentially facilitate people
Mhm.
breaking into smaller groups, or if there are kids there, you know, what is
Right.
this,
yeah,
what is the message here,
right,
you know?
yeah.
I just, I need to check in because I meant to say at the beginning,
I know.
that I have a hard stop at 7:30
Yes.
tonight.
I'd like it to be that too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Great.
okay, so,
Okay, so we might recall that Derek had brought up this dialogue program that's through the U.S. Department, the Community Relations Service, and he provided materials. We talked, in the committee, we talked about who to contact in the school. And honestly, I started with Jan Norman because he's been here and he's in the school. I was able to reach him by phone once, tell him about it, tell him I was gonna send him the materials, and then say I was gonna call him back, and then I haven't been able to reach him, you know? So my thought was, you know, what were his thoughts? Who did he recommend a contact person? I left him a phone message today, kind of saying, well, I haven't heard, and so it's looking like I will just need to reach out. And I think there were two other people we mentioned at our meeting, one Cindy Mojica and the other
Well,
somebody.
That's Omar's wife, right?
Right.
Yes, she would be good, very good.
Yeah, and there was somebody
And if
who's,
she's not her, who would she recommend?
right. So I just hadn't got past Jan yet, but I feel like, well, I tried, so.
What are you talking about, to facilitate it?
Well, to have the school, I think,
Oh, to get the school involved. I'm sorry, I
connection.
missed that.
Yeah, so somehow I think what we had hoped to do,
And Cindy is I don't know, a guidance counselor kind of person, facilitator for BIPOC students at the high school.
yeah,
And I don't know if she does groups. I'm not exactly sure what she does there, but that's, you know, I just see her as connected to
No,
the high
she's great.
school around specific, you know, issues. I'm sure race in class and all of those kinds of things that come up in high school. And
so I guess my sense, so we should have all received those materials from Derek. If not, I can look in my email.
and that was in February, you think, like when did we met in December with him. I'm trying to remember when they
He might have sent them after that.
They did.
You sent them, or Emily, maybe you sent them out to all of us.
Yeah, he definitely sent them over and we shared them. And so my sense, I think, in talking maybe together or in committee or whether it was at our event, was that although we want to reach out to the school, we're not thinking that this is exclusively a school thing. We just want to collaborate on having a facilitated race dialogue.
Yeah, and I don't know if I looked these over again before this meeting, the materials, particularly the Dialogue on Race Program Guide, that document. In the appendices, there's that community profile worksheet.
Yeah.
And I feel like it would be useful for us to actually use this and work through these questions. Because, you know, we want to make something that's really addressing a need. And so it asks, you know, what is going on in our community that a dialogue on race would address? What are the goals? So, you know, it could go in so many different directions. And, you know, why do we want young people involved? You know, we got to be intentional, I think, about these things. And that should, once, you know, we have goals, then it would help us to shape who we would invite, you know, who's participating in this dialogue, you know, what's it for? What are the expected outcomes? And then, you know, the format of it too, is it a one-time thing? Is it, you know, over time, all that kind of stuff. So I think that would be useful.
Do you think it makes sense? I mean, if I get somebody's attention, like say Cindy Mojica then, would it make sense to invite the person to come and be at one of our meetings and go through that?
Definitely, I think so.
You know,
Yeah,
So if you all could
maybe.
find the date that Derek, if you were looking at that document, do you know when he sent it? Because I can't seem to.
Let's see, I'll find it in my emails, because I just
Yeah, I
pulled this
know.
up again.
God.
Hang on. Go back in my email. It was, I think it was from either Rebecca or Emily who forwarded it. Let me just check. Oh, boy. Let's see. You. What is that? 1 to 50 of many. You know your Google is in trouble when it's 1 to 50 of many.
All right.
Oh, you know what? I found where I sent them
I
to
did.
Jan. So what if I just forward that?
That would be perfect.
Perfect.
Let me just forward
Yeah,
to all of you.
dig in
Why
here.
not?
That's great.
It goes way back. It was a long time.
It was like January, then I forwarded it to him.
Here we go.
You found it
Yeah,
as well.
The date is December 13th. It was a forward from Emily, proposed dialogue on race.
Okay. Let me see. So Emily, let me look at Emily now.
Mhm.
I must have it up there.
I'll be right back.
Got it.
Yeah.
I have to say, I had a very interesting conversation with a person of color who lives down the block from me, and who I did not know. I was just walking my dog, and we were chatting, and I mean, like, didn't even need an invitation to start telling me like all the problems.
In town.
Yeah, that this
So-
person has had.
So did
living
this
as a Black person
person
in this
know
town.
you or know that you were on this committee or?
Nope.
Oh, okay. So you just had an encounter with a human being on this. committee?
Exactly.
And he says, listen, I
Conversation
want
with
to.
a neighbor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great, great.
So, I mean, there's all kinds of, different things. So, but it just kind of, like, okay, yeah. Yeah. It's not a small thing.
No, it's nice though that he felt comfortable enough to share.
Yeah. I was a little surprised, but
Yeah.
it's interesting.
It's good. One of the meaningful, one thing that resonated with me, there was a time I was in southern Maine and I wanted to ask a certain young man how it was for him being in Maine, being a person of color.
Mm.
And he said, see, we were of the same religion. We're at a spot where we knew that about each other. He said, if we weren't here, he might not have the trust or comfort level to talk about it. But since we were at the location and he met me with what we were doing there, then he told me some things about what he was dealing with.
Yeah.
But I just thought, yes, that makes sense. You're going to want to be comfortable to even talk about it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so where are we? What's going on?
We've conquered the world.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's all
great.
over. We
Okay.
can all go home.
Okay.
Disband the committee.
Okay.
Actually,
So I have
Marla made friends with the neighborhood, and so
Well, it actually did say to me that, our, idea that's always on the back burner of these neighborhood gatherings.
Yes.
Because I've thought lately, oh, we should just can that whole thing because it's so much work and blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
But having this, I was just saying, I just encountered somebody who lives in our neighborhood,
Oh,
a Black person who just started telling me all these things about what it's like to live in Easthampton.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh.
and I thought, we don't know. I mean, I would never have met this person like in the usual course of things, and
Right.
we don't know people that live near us,
Yeah.
and yeah, so I don't know, maybe that idea isn't stupid.
Yeah. Just hope everyone would come.
Well, that's
you know,
the issue
and
too,
not
yeah.
feel- Yeah, sure. Right.
let's start with
Anyway.
your neighborhood.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, we've talked about that, yeah.
We're open to that.
And what is
yeah.
you both, you live on the
We
same street,
live a few blocks that way.
what street?
Off of
Nipper
Adams.
Avenue.
What's
Yeah.
that again?
Nipper Avenue. It's by Adams, which is the big.
You have to take a turn next to the Immaculate
The big
Conception,
church.
now known as Lady of the Valley Church.
Right.
Lady of the Valley.
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, yeah, all right, well, hey. Any street will do, right?
That's right.
Mhm.
Anyway, sorry to be off topic.
Well, is that, I mean, it's not on the agenda, that's all.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
So
I'm
back
not sure
to the
that's off
dialogue.
So
topic.
I'm back to,
Yeah, yeah.
can we just, you have to leave, you have to be at a meeting at 7:30?
No, I have to leave at 7:30.
Yeah.
The thing that, the next agenda item on team building, which I had asked to put on the agenda. What that means to me is.
Hang on a second. Have we finished with this other item? Are we, what,
I
the
know.
next step, is it just, we're
I
gonna,
think I
reach out
still
to
have
Cindy?
to, yeah,
What is your next step?
reach out to either Cindy or one or two people we
Okay.
named at our other meeting, but she's the one that stands out to me, so I mean, I think
Yeah.
I will do that.
Okay.
okay,
Okay.
and then we could invite her to come talk with us about the idea, and then in the meantime, we could prepare ourselves, I think, to like look at those questions in the
Mhm.
form and, you know,
Okay,
kind
so-
of just work through them a little bit.
So
It
what
just
you
help
said-
us talk about it.
Marla, will you tell me what exactly we should look at, the
It's in the document called, which one is it? Oh, darn. You'll see there's 3 documents in that email, 2020 Dialogue on Race Program Guide. It's one of the appendices, Appendix B, it's called Community Profile Worksheet. And it just has 4 questions, but I think just talking about through those questions ourselves would be really helpful. We may want to expand that if we're, you know, getting further along, like, would we want to involve other people in the planning who are not on the committee, who are going to be kind of, you know, more bringing in different people from different parts of the community, and that we might want to work through those again
Yeah.
with a larger planning group. But I think for us to at least start, maybe with Cindy's help or whoever we get, would be
Okay.
helpful.
That sounds good.
Yeah, as a next step. Okay, now.
Okay.
Now I'm happy we finished
Okay,
that one.
yes, you're right, totally. You know, and in terms of the team building, I don't have a particular suggestion for it exactly, but, I think one of the things that I still, you know, what can I say? I still feel like whatever we need to get more consolidated, I don't even know. I mean, I feel like the 3 of you certainly have spent more time together and, you know, been working together, and I've been much more on the periphery, not coming to meetings because I wouldn't come without a mask and all this different stuff. So, you know, and I am a little concerned about having new members when I don't know how solid we are. And a lot of people will want to reinvent the wheel, which is one of my biggest concerns,
Right.
especially with any new members.
Right.
And I don't know if we have any input with the mayor around new members.
I don't think so.
I would,
I know, I don't know. I mean, we can certainly recommend members and they have to go ahead and apply,
right,
but in terms of telling her, you know, that we'd like to share our opinion about somebody who has suddenly applied, I think you have to do that on an individual basis, and I think you're welcome to do that. You're not as a, I don't think we could go as a
well,
committee.
it seems that the committee, was in the, just talking.
Appointments committee.
Yeah, the appointment committee does all of that. That's really
Right,
out of our
right.
purview. I understand that.
Yeah.
But we are left with, we have to deal with whoever gets appointed.
That's
We
right.
have to, that's gonna be in our those dirty dishes those dishes are gonna be in our sink.
You know,
You know?
yeah, and so once upon a time, there was a person appointed. And I didn't know the appointment process at the time, and even, let's say, didn't get told it right, because the mayor thought the person had received the appointment, but some of the process wasn't done yet, and I just didn't know it. She even showed up to a meeting.
Yes.
But then
Then it was withdrawn.
But then, when that went before the appointments committee, there were people who brought up, well, you know, there was some stuff being published in the Gazette and an
It was a
opinion, all
mess.
this
It
stuff.
was a mess.
So people brought up concerns there.
Mhm.
And I think, I'm trying to remember, I know it went to city council, but I think that they didn't recommend a person.
They didn't,
And I think the city council then did not appoint the person.
they did not.
So I feel like, well, it's always possible to show up, you know, if somebody really had an issue,
Mhm.
they could show up at the appointments meeting and say,
Right.
but that's a public meeting, so that's, you know, that's being out there,
Mhm.
you know, so I don't know. But I feel like, yeah, the mayor created the committee, the people submit their applications to the mayor, and then the mayor sends it to city council. It doesn't come to us.
Right. So would it be out of line for me to potentially call the mayor or write to the mayor about this issue as we are in this little,
What's your fear?
well, there've been certain people who have been, like you were talking about, that there are people that the mayor, well, there's two issues. One, the mayor hasn't appointed anyone besides you, and, Dr. Evan was also one of, and we lost him to Connecticut. But, you know, and so often it's a good appointment. This woman that Rebecca's talking about was kind of a wild appointment, you know, and that kind of got reneged. I'm just concerned about losing ground. That's all. I just feel like, you know, we've come this far, and I don't want to backtrack. But I can't control that either.
Yeah. Well, from what you just said, if I'm understanding you correctly, the process worked. The person was reneged.
Yes.
So hopefully the regular process is enough so that the mayor can see when somebody should or should not be appointed.
And maybe we could get input from you, Marla, because, I mean, one concern I'd have is, as we were kind of trying to figure ourselves out, we got a series of trainings from Derek Dean, which sadly you didn't get the benefit of. So there's the question of onboarding, like what would have helped you more, or what would help any new person get up to speed?
Well, I mean, from my perception, that isn't really the key question. Because, I mean, Myra onboarded me and I think she did a very thorough job. We had a long conversation and she tried to give me the history and, you know, answer all my questions, etc. And that was really helpful. And I feel, though, that really the issue is more a committee issue at this point of, you know, movement, focus, our goals. And I think, you know, with new energy, that could be great, you know, and then that we aren't very far along in my view. I mean, I don't know. I've been doing this now a year and, you know, we are still kind of, you know, trying to kind of like, okay, what are we doing and move forward. So I don't think it's not so much an onboarding question. It feels like to me is like for us to keep working together on clarifying and moving forward and, you know, trying to do actions. So I don't know if that's helpful or not, but I think the onboarding was fine. And, but, you know, it seemed like there wasn't much to move into when I came. So that was it. And, nobody's fault. It's just, the way things were at that time. And so I think, now we're trying to kind of move it along a little bit more, and we gotta keep doing that. So, your point about team building, we did talk about, volunteering together.
Volunteering
with Derek,
exactly. Yeah.
And I reached out to Easthampton Community Center. They never responded to me, and then I didn't really follow up. So I should have done that more. But
What did you talked about, you and Emily talked about?
no, not us.
Oh.
As a committee with Derek.
You were
To
there too.
volunteer.
You were there too.
Yes.
It was right around Christmas time.
Yeah.
We were gonna,
When we met with Derek.
he thought the thing should be that we should all go volunteer somewhere together.
Yeah.
Spend a few hours,
Do
Yeah.
something together.
doing
Yeah.
something together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And was there another idea? I can't remember now, but besides the community center, we were talking about, the Healthy Youth Coalition.
Right.
Right.
And they haven't really needed us.
Yeah.
they have
They're helping
meetings.
youth.
Yeah, I know. They have meetings, but they're
than
always
we are.
during the day and, so, they haven't written
So-
back saying, we need you.
Our next
Yeah.
meeting is April, and I'm not, we're Thursday now, yes?
Yeah, yep, second.
Yeah, oh, forgive me, there was one other announcement I was gonna make that I forgot. Do you,
I have to dash, but.
I understand.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
Okay.
I understand.
Apologize.
And I thought of this, but I haven't reached out to the mayor to ask about this, because way back, thank you, Marla.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Way back last summer, when I did ask the mayor all those questions, one thing was meeting space, okay? So finally, on the second Thursday of the month, we were to be upstairs, and I thought, great. So some city council subcommittee needs it, and we get shoved down here, okay? So I also have
Okay.
I also have a heads up on May 11th. Okay, this doesn't affect April, so that's good. So April would be,
The 13th, is it the
second Thursday, so
the
that,
13th of April?
yes, that would be the 13th of April. But I did
Okay.
want to announce this because from the city clerk, a heads up that on May 11th, the city council has reserved conference room number 1 at 5 for budget hearings. She can't guarantee they're done by 6. And the appointment committee also has scheduled 6 PM here, so she can't put us there.
Well,
So we're looking at the 18th, are we looking at?
So I think that would either be, would we want to start later on May 11th to give,
Well, let me tell you, I'm gonna be away from May 3rd to the 16th, so
Okay.
I wouldn't mind rescheduling it entirely.
okay,
So
so you
like the
don't mind.
18th, for example?
Yeah, the 18th, I could do that, I'd be back.
Okay, May 18th. Okay, so I could ask her about the 18th then. So that might not be as bad as I thought, although I just find it concerning that even if we finally found a good time, that they can't put us in there like
Right.
that. But anyway,
Okay,
But okay.
I know, it is frustrating. I was not pleased when I saw that. I was like, wait a minute. Okay, well,
Okay.
let's say that our next meeting is on April 13th
yeah,
Okay.
at 6
Okay.
PM.
all right.
And yeah, should we adjourn?
Yes,
Should I
Okay.
Vote to adjourn,
Sure,
second
a
that?
second.
Okay,
Great.
okay,
in
great.
favor? Yeah,
Great, thank you.
You can
And you can hit the record.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.